Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and legionnaires of all ages, welcome to the Wrestling Legion Weekly Podcast. I'm Nick the Geek. I'm joined, of course, by two fantastic friends, two marvellous minds, two brilliant brains. I'm joined by the Joey Styles to my Tony Schiavone. I'm joined by the blondest man in all of wrestling. Simon, how the hell are you doing?
I don't know about that, mate. I mean, there's a few that are up there. But yeah, no, I'm really good. We've got a lot to talk about this week.
We do indeed. And we are joined by the Redeemer himself, the ever-present and ever-forceful Andy. Andy, how the hell are you doing? Now that there is an iota of hope reintroduced into your life, which we will get to in a bit.
Oh, yeah. As I said before, the tip is back in.
Right. Lot to get through tonight, lads, so I'm going to get straight into it. First off, we all sat down and watched the Royal Rumble together on Saturday night. Now, I myself was ecstatic with the winners, personally, because, well, I wanted them both to win, so I was a happy, happy boy. Andy, you weren't so happy that Cody won.
No. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. He's a heel, and he's blocking The Rock's dream, which is it's just disgusting. He needs to realise that he's not on the level of The Rock and just stand aside and do the right thing. But
only him, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, in all seriousness, though, do you know what? Take away. Do you know what? I was disappointed because The Rock didn't show. Wasn't too, and I was disappointed that Cody won just for that reason. But all in all, I'm going to say it out straight: the men's Royal Rumble was poor, apart from the final bit.
I don't think it was poor. I just think the women's Rumble was so well booked that the men's came off as not as good. Because I still think the men's Rumble was structured really well. Guys came in at the right time. They handled the Brock missing by having Braun do his spots, cover the Brock spots very nicely. Cody coming in before number 20 was nice because he really needed to come in before number 20. Punk coming in at the Magic 27 was really good. Gunther had a phenomenal run again. Like, I really enjoyed the match, but I do get what you mean. Si, would you agree? Because we all said that's probably the best women's Rumble they've ever done.
Yeah, for me, I think it was the sixth one now. And I think a lot of the times with the women's Rumbles in the past, there's been a lot of fillers. There's been a lot of legends coming back that maybe aren't 100% to do like more than a couple of minutes. And I thought this year's women's Rumble was the best one so far. It wasn't the best men's Rumble we've ever had. I don't think it was terrible. I thought it was booked well, like you say. But I think when we've had a below average men's Rumble the same year, they pretty much came out on a par, like for me, enjoyment wise. The whole show was good.
Yeah. One thing I'd say with the women's Rumble that I really enjoyed was some of the eliminations and the spots that they'd done in eliminations. I thought Becky's elimination of Chelsea Green was really fun. I thought Becky, the way she got eliminated, was quite a surprise.
The look on her face.
Yeah, and then Tiffany Stratton and Bianca Belair's one that they done was really, really good as well. With the hair, and you thought, oh, she's going to stay in, and then they dumped them.
Can we just also give props to Kairi Sane for defying gravity and Spider-Manning onto the side of the ring?
Yeah, it didn't quite work, but the idea was good.
The idea, but what was she holding on to? Because her arms were out flat and her feet were flat against the LED board. I don't understand how she kept hold.
Have you never seen? Have you never seen was it House of the Flying Dagger?
Yeah, but that's all rope work and done in the movie. I don't think they did rope work in a Royal Rumble.
Well, see that there, though, what you said, talking about Kairi Sane and these spots in the women's Rumble, I don't feel like we had enough of them in the men's. Though, like, realistically, the biggest part of the men's Rumble for me was the laugh with R-Truth.
Oh, that hot tag. Dom actually going for the hot tag was freaking amazing. I haven't laughed that hard at a wrestling match in years. We're going to get to more truth in a bit because I'm really happy for the guy at the moment because it looks like there are WrestleMania plans in play for R-Truth. But just quickly go around the room. Favorite
shout out from me as well.
Sorry,
dude. I know we've talked a lot about the Women's Rumble and about the comebacks that we saw. Naomi coming back, Liv Morgan coming back. But for me, the star of the show was to see Jordynne Grace.
Big pop.
What a surprise. What a debut. Yeah.
I could thoroughly see Jordan in that company in the next year. Like, she's perfect for WWE.
She's ready made.
She's perfect. Yeah. She's perfect for Rhea. She's a perfect opponent for Rhea Ripley, like in every way, shape, or form. But quickly go around the ring, lads. My least favorite whole thing of the night was Roman's match. I thought it was a filler. It shouldn't have felt like filler considering the star power in the match, but it felt like filler in Roman's title reign. It felt like, oh, they don't have a singles opponent for him before Mania. We'll just shove him in with these 3 guys.
I think to be fair, though, the last probably 12 months of Roman's reigns felt like filler ever since Mania last year.
No, I will agree with that. Ever since the Cody match, it's just felt like he's been spinning his wheels. And it doesn't matter because we all love LA Knight, but we all knew he wasn't winning.
Yeah.
We all knew Logan Paul wasn't winning. It's like it's the problem Roman has is he's smashed and stacked so many opponents now that it's very hard to build someone up back to the credible level where the fans believe they're going to win. I call it, you'll get this reference, right? It's reverse Rob Van Dam syndrome. When RVD was the TV champion in ECW, every single night, all of the fans were like, this is the night. This is the night he loses it. This is the night he loses it. Whereas with Roman, it's like, nah, he's not losing. It's Roman. Smash and stacks, wins again.
Like you guys, I think now we've reached the point where the reign has gone on so long that it's only going to end at a WrestleMania or, dare I say it, on a Saudi show. I don't think SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Rumble, I don't think that title's really at jeopardy. That's what it is now.
Yeah, I would agree. But favorite and least favorite moments from the Rumble, lads, from the whole show.
Favorite was Bailey probably winning. I thought it was made up with that. Thought it was really good. Least favorite of the night was probably the men's Rumble in general. And take away the who won the Rumble because that's not why thing. But I thought it was the least enjoyable match on the card. But one special shout out as well to Kevin Owens because apparently he wrestled that whole match with a broken foot.
Yeah, the broken foot and a fractured hand. Got credit where credit is due to Kevin Owens because that guy is tough. He is tough as nails. Like, just he really is, and he doesn't get enough credit for being as tough as he is.
No,
he's like Bruiser Brody but smaller in a lot of ways. But anyway, Simon, favorite and least favorite moments from the Rumble.
Like I've said, Jordan Grace's debut. We talked about the hot tag. Least favorite moments. Favorite again for me was, the winners were both great. Least favorite moment I think was that DDT from Drew onto Punk. But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Well, funnily enough, we're getting towards that time of day because it is now time, as I know you are both as excited as I am, to talk about Monday Night Raw. Because I think I only finished watching I haven't run the whole show. I've watched the highlights. I've watched Punk's whole segment. I've watched Cody's whole segment. And I've watched the tag team title match. I haven't managed to watch the rest of the show. But from what I've seen, phenomenal show. Like, we're going to get to... In fact, no, we'll just get to it now. Right, because it's fresh in my mind because I finished watching it 15 minutes ago. Punk's promo. For me, that was the most honest and emotional thing he has ever said in his wrestling career. Like, the sheer disappointment on his face and in his voice. I really felt for Punk because not only is he torn his triceps, but it's the other one because he did his left arm in AEW and now he's done his right arm in WWE. Like, what did you think of the promo side? What did you think of Drew McIntyre's involvement? And then...
So, for me, I mean, it's a no-brainer that Punk is always going to cut potentially the best promo of the night, depending on whether Heyman's on the show. I think from his point of view, I was expecting a heel turn. But no, it kind of went the other way, didn't it? He's endorsed Cody. He's got the sympathy of the fans using the, connecting with the hometown team. It's such a shame what happened to him. Even more of a shame is, the assholes on X who say that fragile old men have got no business in the ring. Come on, it's a performance.
Minoru Suzuki is 54 years old.
If that's coming from some AEW fans, then they want to see why the world champions like that.
Well, But then we got Drew. Now Drew to me is a guy who's always had like 3/4 of the total package. You know,
Fair point.
he's aesthetic. He's great to look at. He's got the in-ring ability and he's got the experience, but his talking has never been top notch, in my opinion. I think he's coming into his own now with his heel turn. It was a little bit flat at first, but some of the comments he made, I think he's
saying he prayed for this to happen.
Yeah. I mean, slightly harsh. And yeah, the beatdown on Punk. It was a great little spot. It put a lot of heat on Drew. It got the fans behind Cody. It got sympathy for Punk. It ticked all the boxes. It was, yeah.
Indeed. And
Great
Punk
segment.
now has a ready-made feud for when he comes back.
Yeah.
Which is...
Can I just say, it's kind of eerie that this whole situation where, first of all, we were meant to be getting Rollins against Punk. And then obviously Seth got injured and there's a big question mark over him. And now Punk's injured. And now who's going to take that role? Do you remember Mania a few years ago? And I'm going back maybe 7, 8, 9 years, where a similar thing happened with Seth, where originally it was going to be, was it Seth versus Sting? And then it got changed to Seth versus Jason Jordan. And then it's like every time someone took the spot, they got injured. It was almost like it was jinxed. And I'm starting to worry that same kind of thing's happening again this year. But hopefully not.
It's the unfortunate fact about professional wrestling is even though people love to call it fake, there are more injuries in professional wrestling on a yearly basis than there are in any sport in the world, because it's a damn hard thing to do and it takes a hell of a toll on your body. But I'm going to let you finish off about Punk there, sorry. And I'm going to move on to what I know what Andy wants to talk about.
Whoa.
So he's doing it again.
You haven't even let me speak about Punk, and I've got a big thing that I want to put forward here.
You told me you wanted to keep the show to 45 minutes, so I'm trying to move this along fast.
Yeah, I know, but
if you wish to talk, all right, go on.
Come on, Nick. Do you know what I mean? Let me
just... we all just get along.
Right, so I'm going to be really thingy here. Punk's full of shit. He's not injured.
Okay.
I don't think he's injured. WWE have made a point.
Right, Dan, I'm interrupting you right there, dude. If Punk isn't injured, then he is the absolute best at selling an injury that I have seen for a long, long time. Yeah. That arm was hanging.
Okay, right. So I reckon this was the plan all along, to get him in versus Drew. Right, Drew stamped on his arm last night. If he was really that bad, why would he stamp on that arm? He actually targeted the injury and stamped on it. Now, if that was really that injured, would that have been the case?
Do you remember Cody Rhodes 18 months ago when half of his body was bruised and filled with blood?
Okay, right. So I knew you were going to say this to me though. And I've researched.
Did you? You mind reading it?
Right.
So he knew, right, that he was fine to wrestle, but once he's had the surgery, you can't wrestle during that recovery time. So it's the same with Punk. He can take a spot, he can get his arm stamped on, but as soon as he has the surgery, he's on the shelf.
I don't know. See,
let him finish his theory.
Right. So I think the way that he jumped on him was a bit like thingy, yeah. And then what else can I really say here? So how can I explain this? So like he stamped on his arm, right?
You're not wrong, Jim.
He turned around and he kept showing where he was injured in the Royal Rumble. I was like, why do you keep showing that so much? Right? Then Drew McIntyre comes out, attacks him and all the rest of it. He does all this. Then Drew actually posts this onto it. Oh God, it won't come off now. Sorry, I do apologize.
I haven't seen this.
Right, so
it's all right. Technical issues, ladies and gentlemen.
Technical issues. Let me just send it to you, Nick, and then see if you can get it up. Well, I'll do this. Right, so it's a picture. So this is actually what thingy he sent on the what's it called now, on the Twitter. This was an actual post from Drew McIntyre. I can't post it, but maybe you'll be able to share it, Nick, if I send it to you.
Where are you sending it?
I'm going to send it via Twitter X.
All right, send it to Legion, and I'll see if I can send it from there.
Sorry, bear with me. I'll try and bloody find this thing. But anyway, long story short, it's basically a picture of Drew with his fingers up at the grave with Punk's WrestleMania 40 on it. Now, if that guy's going to be out for so long, why would you do that? Do you know what I mean? Why would you do it?
Now,
you wouldn't.
This is a fair old theory, Andy. As I would just like to put Jimmy's comment up here for you to read.
Yeah.
Faking injury and getting people to think one of the top draws is out of Mania would definitely be a choice. It would definitely be a choice.
It'd definitely be a choice, but also, I think in the same kind of way as what has happened with Cody and that, which we're going to go on to in a minute, is if you really want to do Rock Roman and then therefore you're going to do Cody Seth, then what's a way to get Thingy into a match that everybody wants to see without people getting disappointed?
Well, I would like to put a powder keg in your theory.
Mm-hmm.
Drew McIntyre isn't going to main event WrestleMania this year unless he wins the Elimination Chamber.
Well, why does he need to win? Yeah.
And the Elimination Chamber is probably going to be for a shot at Seth's title.
Mm-hmm.
Unless what we're going to talk about right now has thrown an even bigger spanner in the works.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I believe it has given my friend here a bit of hope.
Just before we do move on to that as well, can I just say, like, that theory that I had is just by watching stuff like that. I also noticed and I've seen that you can actually get really more damage by aggravating a tricep injury after the fact. So that's where it was different than Cody's one. Where when Cody's one was done, it was done. Where Punk's could really get injured more by doing it. But I'm not saying I'm right. It's just a theory, and it was just something I was looking, thinking, could I be right here? And also with Punk coming out and saying that he was injured, what was the need to do the Drew thing? There was no reason for it. So I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on.
Hang on, Jimmy, just to help clarify and support your point. Punk never mentioned surgery.
Just to
not once.
Just to talk about what the point of it was, though. It's like Brett, Royal Rumble 94, hurt his knee in a tag match against the Quebecers, right? What did Owen do afterwards? Even though we already knew the knee was hurt, he kicked his leg out from under his leg.
His leg. He kicked his leg out of his leg.
So sometimes it just puts that cherry on top, doesn't it? For
yeah.
Dare I say, some of the casual fans that are a little bit slower than the rest of us.
Did you see that thing I've just sent to you, Nick?
Hang on, I'll get it up now.
If you can try and share it, because it's just this as well. I just don't get, if Punk's going to be out for this extended period of time, why would Drew be posting this type of thing on Twitter as well? It just doesn't make sense to me. That's all. Yeah, but I'm probably totally wrong, but it's just a little. Sometimes we have a saying in the corporate world, mate, and it's the KISS model, they call it, and it's keep it simple, stupid. And it's just like, for me, it just doesn't. It's not quite as simple as what I'm thinking it is.
Right. Okay. I think there's one way I know how to do this. Because I'm tech stupid.
Hit present.
Where?
So next to where it says leave studio, the next button along will say present.
I'm going to sorry, blindness kicking in, lads.
Yeah, you will see what I mean, guys. It is worth seeing as well, because I think it's a good point. You know what I mean? Okay, and then just pick a screen if you can. You should be able to. But yeah, as I say, I'm not trying to say that I'm wrong on that or I'm right. It's just a feeling I've got, and it kind of just makes a bit more like.
I just think after all the rumors in AEW that his injury wasn't legit when when the belt went back and forth, why would they do that?
Just because Punk's an old romantic, isn't he? Do you know, when he loves a good kayfabe and everything else, and Triple H is an old school wrestling fan as well, and if they could pull this off, it'd be a great deal for them, and it'd be, people would laud them for it. They really would. I would anyway. Do you know what I mean? If they were to pull something like that off, and as I say, I don't know why, but I just feel like there's just something.
If anything, I know we talked about this earlier today. I think it might be the other possibility that maybe Punk was down to win the Rumble, and it was only when he got an injury, if it was legit, let's go with that, that there was an audible and Cody won.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think
is it?
figured this out, is he?
I'm getting there. Sorry, I need new glasses, lads, and this screen is really small, so it's really hard for me to read anything that's on it.
Right, let's move on then while he's having a look at that. We might get it at some point.
Okay. I'll get to the next point and then I will find this picture. Andy, so last night, Cody Rhodes cut a phenomenal Cody Rhodes promo, announced that he was going for Roman, announced that everybody was going to get him to finish the story. It's all going to be happy. And then whose music hits? Seth Rollins. Seth comes out and Seth tells Cody, you don't want to go after Roman's title. That's the Hollywood title. That's the politicking title. That's the title that nobody wins and nobody earns. They're just handed. This is the belt that matters. This is the workhorse title. This is Dusty's title. Now, Andy, would you like to weigh in?
Yeah, I would, right. I watched this bit and I got really excited and I really got into Rollins versus Cody, right? Now, one thing I am going to say, though, is my judgment is quite screwed at the moment because we all know what I want, right? Is The Rock. It's as simple as that. But one thing that I will say, guys, is I went back and watched this promo again because it made me want to see this match, and I had to go back and say, okay, watch this from a subjective point of view and don't take into the fact of what you want and just watch it for what it is. And out of the whole of Seth Rollins' championship reign, he done a phenomenal job of making me care about that match. To actually care about that match. And he also made me think Cody should go after that. And rightly or wrongly with the Rock
by
stuff.
The looks of it, deleted all the pictures off my computer instead of saving them.
Oh dear. Well, anyway, just to go back to that, it's like, take away the Cody Roman thing and all the rest of it that I want for the Rock Roman. I still know the difference about what I'd rather see Cody do. And for the first time yesterday, Seth Rollins actually made me want to care about the other side of it.
Well, it's funny because, Si, I'm going to bring this to you. We all know Seth and Cody had a great feud. Cody beat him 3-0. So Seth has unfinished business with Cody, and he wants to get that mark off his ledger. Cody wants to win the World Championship his father never won. Now, that is technically the belt Roman owns because the WWE title was folded into the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. However, if they can now wangle away to get Cody versus Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship, The Rock versus Roman for the WWE Universal Championship, don't you think Cody's choice devalues one belt one way or the other? Because if he picks, let me explain, and then you can reply. All right. If he picks Roman's belt now, after everything Seth said last night, Seth's belt's second rate according to Cody because he didn't choose it. After the whole thing Seth laid out about it being the workhorse championship, the championship that I defend on every single house show, the championship that these people get to see defended. If he then chooses Roman's belt over Seth's, that's Cody saying, yeah, that's a second-rate belt. I don't want that one. However, if he picks Seth over Roman now, that's just the Hollywood title that no real wrestler cares about.
But that's only the opinion of one person.
Don't you believe that has a chance of turning the Universal Championship into nothing more than a prop in the match with The Rock? Sorry.
No, I think logically what you're saying, like taking the words word for word, what you're saying makes sense. But when you take into account Cody's passion, Cody wanting to get revenge for what happened last year at Mania, he's practically spent 12 months obsessed with getting back to the end boss, Roman Reigns, and winning that belt. And I think you've got to look at the contrast. The end of the Rumble, how passionate was he? Pointing at the sign, pointing at Roman, Yeah. And then on Raw, Seth started saying what he was saying. And it made a lot of sense. And Cody listened. And he came, like, at the start of that little back and forth, Cody was going to be like, no, I'm challenging Roman. But Seth got in his head because he made a lot of valid points. And I just think at the minute, as much as I hate to say it, I think this is all it's putting both the world titles on the same level of importance, which they've needed to do for a while.
Agreed.
And I just think maybe it's adding a bit of drama to Cody's decision, because quite often the Royal Rumble winner loses direction a little bit for the first few weeks between the Rumble and Mania. It keeps it fresh, keeps it exciting, keeps it must watch. And in the meantime, it also gives The Rock more time to decide what he's going to do if he doesn't know already. Because from what I believe, from what I've read, the hierarchy want the match. They want Rock Roman, but they want it in Saudi. Whereas The Rock wants it to happen at WrestleMania.
Yes, he does.
So now that Punk has been injured, if indeed that's true, let's go with that, it kind of fits into place that Cody can finish his story against Seth and The Rock and Roman can be at Mania. But if they decide to veto that, it could go the other way. We could get Cody Roman, and then regardless of who wins, you can still get Rock Roman in Saudi. And I hope it doesn't happen that way. But if it does, we're back to the fact that it doesn't need the belt. You know?
But can I just ask you something as well? Does Roman need to lose the belt to face The Rock, or does he just not put it on the line?
I mean,
he has to put it on the line.
Does he?
Yeah. If the belt is involved,
do you know who the last world champion was who lost a couple of big pay-per-view matches without the belt being on the line?
Hulk Hogan.
Austin.
We're talking Hogan against matches like Jay Leno and Rodman and things like that in tag matches.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you could even have you could even have The Rock saying, like, screw the belt, I don't want your belt. Do you know what I mean? How dare you with the family? And
he
and
could say this is about the family, this is about more than the title.
Yeah.
Let's face it, he's now on the board of directors. The Rock's got plenty of pull.
Yeah.
It is happening. We just don't know when. Right?
Or when.
And talking about the board of directors, right? Director Rock. Did you notice anything different about his appearance?
He didn't fasten his cuffs when he was taking a photograph.
Didn't fasten his cuffs? Anything else?
He looks very slimmer.
Wow.
He
does look
he
a lot
slim.
slimmer.
He was dressed differently and he was wearing glasses. Right? Now I'm going to throw it out there and I'm going to say I've never once before in my life seen Dwayne Johnson wear glasses. And I think it was for a prop. And I think it's because we're meant to look at that and we're meant to say, oh, look, he's in the corporate scene now. He's retired. He ain't going to wrestle because he's wearing glasses. And I just think that's misdirection.
Good shout, that, Jim.
Completely agree.
Yeah. On the board, yeah. You got that.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, the one thing is that I'm saying, no matter what now, I'm loving the fact that there's so many different options still. We're post Rumble, and we still don't know where the land's going to lie, which to me is great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to throw a wrench into today's works because I've just thought of something else that I want to talk about.
What do you want to talk
about? Something that Andy mentioned to me the other day. Gunther needs an opponent for Mania. And Andy brought up an idea the other day to me that is stuck in my head. And I think you'll like this one, Simon. Because there's a certain Japanese superstar whose contract runs out tomorrow who desperately wants a WrestleMania match, in his own words. Kazuchika Okada desperately wants to compete at WrestleMania. Now, would you think that Okada would be a suitable opponent for the Ring General?
I think it would be an absolutely fantastic match. However, Okada has still got one last match against Tanahashi on February the 11th.
Yes.
It's not leaving a whole lot of time to build it. And I don't know
have already
if that new straight into that level.
See, we had this exact discussion the other day.
Okay.
Video packages, my friend.
Yeah.
You play every single week.
Honestly,
video.
As much as I would love to see that match, and I hope we get it sooner rather than later, I think if we do get Okada at Mania or soon after, I think Nakamura is the natural first opponent.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, but I feel like if Gunther's got nothing for Gunther, then that is a really good fit.
There is.
Who?
Well, there's Chad
Seth.
Gabe.
Yeah.
Here's what you do. Listen. So at the
What?
minute, do you remember WrestleMania in '98? Okay.
Yes.
The main event was Stone Cold Steve Austin challenging HBK for the belt. But do you remember the build? Because there was a few weeks when we weren't sure that was what we were going to get. We were thinking Mike Tyson was going to compete, right? It's all done now. It's in the history books. Tyson was an enforcer. But at the time, it was seriously talked about that he was going to step in that ring and face Austin, right? Or face HBK. It was talked about.
It was.
And I think that's exactly what's happening with The Rock right now. I think we will get Rock Roman in Saudi, but I think at WrestleMania, The Rock is going to be an enforcer, and he's going to be in Cody's corner against Roman, right? That frees up Seth. Seth can face Gunther. Gunther, in the meantime, has dropped the IC belt to Jey Uso, who faces his brother on the show for it.
I have another spanner to throw in your works.
Oh.
Rumor has it, my friend, that Gunther is not dropping that title till Berlin. And rumor has it that he will be dropping that title to Ludwig Kaiser in the main event in Bash at Berlin.
Who's rumor?
Because Ludwig Kaiser is the only German on the entire roster. He's the only German to ever enter a Royal Rumble. It's the fact I found out the other night, thanks to Andy. He's the only German on the roster. Gunther's Austrian. They want that show to be impactful. They want that show to mean something. You put a belt on Ludwig Kaiser in the main event, but they're not going to put a world title on him. The IC belt, on the other hand, is perfect game, and then it frees Gunther up to go for the world championships and to win next year's Rumble.
What is one of the big things when it comes to my opinions that you know about me over the years?
Make it make sense. And less is more.
That as well. But I've moaned so many times about this. You shouldn't reward effort, right? And you shouldn't give somebody a belt just because they're trying hard or they're improving.
There's no such thing as participation trophies in wrestling.
Exactly, right? And neither should you give someone a win, particularly for a title, just because it's in their hometown. Because what happens when he gets back to the States and the rain flops? It's great for that crowd. It's great for Berlin. You know, for them, I hope it happens. But you got to look at the big picture. And I don't see that happening for a second. He's not at that level. There's Jay, there's Kofi, there's LA Knight,
what
they
can do is have him beat Gunther for that belt. Gunther moves on, does Gunther things in the main event, and then he gets into a feud immediately with a fast rising babyface, who I can't believe I'm going to say this, is probably going to be Dominic Mysterio by that point.
That sounds weird. Say it again.
I think Dom's going to be a babyface by Bash at Berlin.
Oh, that felt good.
I really do.
Say it again.
I think Dom's going to be a babyface by Bash.
I don't want him to be a babyface. I love heel Dom.
No, I do, but he's going to do an Eddie. The kid's too good.
Yeah.
He's going to do an Eddie eventually.
When you transcend it like The Rock did, and you get so over as a heel that people want to cheer you. And I think you're right. Dom's nearly there.
Can I tell you what I've heard?
Yes, you can.
So Friday night on SmackDown, The Rock's going to turn up, take the belt off Roman, and bring back the best title of all time. Which one?
The Brahma Bull title.
The scratch logo. The one that he got rid of the stupid Cena spin belt for, and then we're on our way to Mania.
Do you know what I've heard?
I love the fact that you never let the hope die, Andy.
It's never going to die.
It's never going to die.
Right. Look at it, right. Be a realist, right? If you go into WrestleMania expecting to see The Rock and for The Rock to actually be the enforcer at ringside, right, leading to a match in the future, you're a happy guy. If you get anything more than that, it's a pleasant surprise.
I honestly think, one, you know my opinion, I still think we're going to get a triple threat. Because it's a 10-year Mania, and the last 10-year Manias, the last two, Mania 20, Mania 30, both had triple threat main events. No, because I'm in charge. I set up. So you
Well, that's a minor technicality. Just right.
I thought this was a democracy, Nick.
It was until I got hold of the technology, and now I'm in charge. Right. Anyway, but I do agree with Sai. I think the best way to look at it is to view The Rock as having a small but important role at WrestleMania. Like, I could well see him countering Solo, Sikoa, and the Bloodline for Cody.
Yep.
They come down and try and do what they did like that at the last year's Mania. Simone spikes, blah, blah, and then The Rock's music hits. Roman looks dumbfounded. Solo goes down the ramp. He gets the smackdown laid on him. Jimmy Uso gets the smackdown laid on him. Rock walks to the ring, stands face to face with Roman. Roman's not paying attention. Grab from behind. Crossroads 1, 2, 3.
Yep, works. And for anybody saying that cheapens Cody's win, no, because it's just an equalizer, and it makes the match so much bigger with The Rock being the enforcer.
The only thing,
it makes his win bigger.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, which is why I'm more inclined to be happy if he goes after Rollins as well, is if they are not going to let Cody win it, do not do it. Don't you dare do it. You know what I mean? Let him win Rollins and then go after Roman after he's beat the SummerSlam record thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you want to do it then, but do not have him win. No, even if he goes against Rollins at Mania and loses to Rollins, that's fine. But if do not let him go near Roman unless he's going to beat him. That's my opinion, because I feel like otherwise you are destroying Cody Rhodes.
Also,
and take away my messing around with The Rock and stuff like that. I actually do really love Cody, and it's like if you do that, you're just going to destroy him.
But my point of view, this is going to be popular. I want to see him destroyed because I want the Codelander back. This is why I'm worried. If he wins a world title, it's probably going to be at least 6 to 12 months before we get a heel turn, if ever. Right? I want that heel Cody. So
dude, he's John Cena, mate. It's not happening. Like, everyone wanted a heel turn from Cena for 15 years? Never happened.
Once. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the Firefly Funhouse match.
No,
he was technically a heel during the Firefly Funhouse match.
He was a heel when he was wrestling Taker and he was smashing up tombstones in a graveyard way back in 2003.
I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that. But you ain't going to get it from Cody for a long time.
But it's a shame, isn't it?
It is a shame. I love evil Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
and I'd love to see Codelander in WWE. I think Cody is a phenomenal heel. I think he works heel better than most heels work heel because he understands, a little bit like Christian Cage, he understands the idiosyncrasies of how to get heat.
Yeah, he's a clever guy, isn't he? Let's face it.
He gets it. But because Jimmy's comment has just reminded me of this, also on Raw, lads, Andrade signed.
Yeah.
So he's on Raw permanently. Now, this is a segue question. Do you think this means when Charlotte comes back, we're going to have a superstar shakeup?
We probably will at some point anyway.
Yeah, May, June, there'll be one anyway, I would have thought. Great to see Andrade back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long do you reckon it'll be before they do Andrade and Charlotte versus Becky and Seth?
About 6 months. Because that's how long Charlotte's going to be out for. Right. But moving on to something slightly more serious, lads. So this week we had the horrendous news that Vince McMahon has been legally pegged in for sex trafficking, womanizing, and many other charges. And unfortunately, a former WWE and UFC World Heavyweight Champion was named in this suit. And everyone put their fingers together because only one former UFC Heavyweight Champion has ever worked for Vince McMahon, other than Ken Shamrock. And he never won the WWE title. So everyone kind of figured it's Brock Lesnar.
Cain Velasquez.
Never won the WWE title.
I didn't know, yeah.
Oh, good point. All right.
Right.
I'll shut up.
So everyone has kind of figured out this is Brock Lesnar. Now, I was watching some news earlier on today, and the title of this video was Brock is Gone Forever. Now, unfortunately, we've got to take this with a pinch of salt because it comes from everybody's best friend, Dave fucking Meltzer. But Meltzer is reporting that TKO are in the process of shedding ties with
Good.
Brock Lesnar. Now, I understand why they're doing this. I think it is the best thing for business. But Brock was a young kid. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, right? But Brock was a young guy when this apparently happened. I wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
When did this happen?
No.
This is
SummerSlam last year.
Really?
SummerSlam last year.
I
Don't forget it. No. This girl who was, I've read the whole lawsuit, right? And I'll just tell you, it's absolutely disgusting, right? It's absolutely disgusting. And it's terrifying. And if any of it's true, then Vince McMahon should go to jail for a long, long time. But the actuals, they hired the girl in 2019. So this stuff's been going on until she was let go. I believe it was October 22 or 23, 22.
Oh, God,
October 22.
I thought it was I've misread it. I thought it was 2009.
No.
2019.
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I'm going to completely forget what I was about to say then. The man deserves no defense whatsoever. He's married with children, for Christ's sake.
However, let me be the one who's potentially going to get some flack back for taking this opinion, just to play devil's advocate. If what is alleged is true, yes, I get the illegalities involving Vince. But what did Brock do wrong? Somebody turned up, slept with him, he signed a contract.
They didn't actually sleep together. She sent him videos and stuff like that. But the other thing that I'd say on that
what
part,
did Brock do wrong?
Me personally, I'll take the flak for this if it comes to it. But I believe Brock will be vindicated because apparently she was given a burner phone by Vince McMahon and told to send this stuff to who was allegedly Brock. Now, how do you prove that if she was sending it from a burner phone to here and whatnot?
Exactly.
And if she is, how is it Brock's fault? You know,
right.
I get that these problems need fixing. I get that there's deep-rooted problems that we need to make sure that they don't happen again. But implicating other people just by association isn't the way to do it.
Well, unfortunately, it turns out that WWE has been run by a maniac for the past 40 years.
Well, we don't know yet, mate, and that's the other thing.
That's why. Okay, I will use the word allegedly.
Yeah, that's why I want to make it very clear. Like, I read that lawsuit, and being a father to a young girl, it absolutely made me sick to my stomach. But at the same time, at this very moment, there's a key word of allegedly, and everybody's entitled to a fair trial. So I ain't going to sit here and call them any bad words or say
innocent until proven guilty.
And I do not believe for a second that Vince actually types like that in his texts. I'll say that. I'm not saying the guy's innocent, but I don't think for a second that those texts are legit.
I will just say that if I will agree with what Andy said earlier, if this lawsuit turns out to be true, Vince should go away for a very long period of time. Because from what I've read, very small amount, because I don't have children, but it absolutely disgusted me. If this is true, then Vince deserves what he gets. But if this turns out that this is somebody just trying to get money off a man who did some stupid stuff when he was younger, this is bad. Like, I have to award TKO Holdings for distancing themselves as quickly as they did.
They have to. They're a publicly traded company. They had to. They 100% had to.
Then there are people out there sat behind the keyboards that are criticizing Triple H for having such a nonchalant response to it. He's running a company. He's not getting involved in it. He's staying out of it. That's his right to do. Not as a CEO, but as a person, right? It's his right to say, I don't want to comment on that.
He is also
negatively and asking for his head. It's a witch hunt. Let's just not do that, bollocks. Let's not
being funny, right? But I can't really say a lot. But I've had situations in work where there's been ongoing lawsuits, and let's make it clear it's not against employees. And obviously, some of the work that I do involves lawsuits with different areas of whatever else. Yeah. Now, some of them lawsuits have involved high-profile things that have made news and stuff like that. And whenever we've had reporters outside the buildings, whatever else it may be, they come near me. I will say I can't comment on that. Now, I can do that because my job doesn't involve speaking to a press. But from a legality point of view, and from what we've been told, is you don't say anything. You keep your mouth shut. It's an ongoing legal matter, so you can't say anything.
Even if you could.
Oh, you wouldn't.
Right?
You wouldn't.
You could choose not to from your own personal preferences.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Everyone's
100%.
saying it, just because he's running a company doesn't mean he's not a human being. He may choose not to speak about it.
Can I just say though as well is, which is really, really bad as well at people, and I think you've used it about 3 times there, say, just because he's running a company, Triple H doesn't run the company. He's an employee of a company who is the head of a creative department. He's not the head of a company. Nick Khan's higher up the food chain than he is, and believe it or not, now The Rock is higher up the food chain than he is.
Yeah.
So to slate and berate an employee of a company who's probably getting directions from a legal department as well as the fact that it's awkward for him that is his father-in-law, I think people just need to leave him alone.
I think Triple H is getting a lot of more flack than he would have because Cody addressed it. Cody was asked questions about Vince at the press conference, and he
But that's Cody's prerogative.
No, that's what I mean. But I think because Cody addressed it, people were expecting Triple H to be just as open and just everything else. When, as you just said, it's his father-in-law for one. I'm sure Triple H and Triple H's wife is Vince's daughter. I'm pretty sure Stephanie doesn't want him talking about it.
Can we also say as well that he's also the grandfather to their daughters?
Yeah,
you know, so let's just put that into perspective of how they must be feeling over this whole situation. Do you know what I mean? And let's face it, his daughters aren't little either, so they'll understand what's going on. The poor girls will probably be reading it all over social media, etc.
I just want to say, without getting too deep, and I'm not going to talk about myself here, but I think at times in life, a lot of us have been unlucky enough to be accused of things that we're innocent of, or even if we have done things wrong, those things have been exaggerated. And I'm not saying he's not done wrong, but he needs to answer to the courts and be judged guilty. It's not up to us to do it. It's not up to X to do it. It's not up to wrestling fans to do it.
No.
Let's let the legal profession do what they're doing, and let's not turn it into a witch hunt.
Well, the problem we have these days, and I'm going to get more flack for this, is there's a lot of idiots in the world that like to mistake opinion for fact. There's a complete difference. I will use us as an example. The three of us share our opinions on this podcast. We will use some facts that we get. Andy mainly is the fact guy. We will get some facts that we've used, but we share our opinions on this podcast, and that is all they are. We do not expect people to agree with us. We do not expect people to disagree with us.
For anybody watching that may have some confusion over that, what is the difference between a fact and an opinion?
So an opinion is like arseholes. Everyone's got one. A fact is just one actual fact.
It's undisputable, right?
Yes. This is the simple fact. The simple fact. A fact is a piece of logical information that has been proven. It's been proven by multiple sources, and it exists in the universe as a fact.
Let me just say.
Can I just give the definition of opinion in a second? Sorry, go on. You go for now, mate.
I just say, when it comes to wrestling, there's not a lot of facts.
Can I just say,
a lot of opinion.
And the definitive of an opinion is like an arsehole. Everyone's got one. Sometimes they stink, and not everyone wants to see it.
That'll do. All right, lads. But it's that time of the show again.
Wow.
Where I turn around and I simply say, what do you want to talk about? Andy, you're up first.
Not on my part, mate. I think we've done a really good bit of what we want to do today. So I'm happy.
Okay. Si?
Yeah, I think we've covered most of it. We've been WWE heavy, but we are coming off the Rumble. I think just to touch
and also it's better.
Again, that's an opinion, Andy.
It's an opinion. It is an opinion.
Perfect example. That is an opinion.
Perfect timing.
When it comes to matches, 5-star, not 5-star. I'm gonna have a rant now. When it comes to matches, a 5-star match is one man's opinion, right? There is no fact about what the best match ever is because everybody's got a different opinion about it.
Because everybody likes different things.
Exactly.
Right, but okay, gents, that's the show.
That went quick.
You've got It did, but we've done 50 minutes. That's 5 minutes over what we wanted to do. But I think that'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy what we do here at Wrestling Legion, God knows why, but if you do, please subscribe to the channel, join the Legion. It's free. It really helps us out, and it's the only way the YouTube algorithm knows we exist. If you stay for the whole video, please, it's got to be worth a like. That's yet again, it's free, and it really helps us out. Please leave a like, smash that button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything we do in the future. I've been Nick the Geek. That's been the Redeemer, Andy. That's been Simon. And remember, we are just three geeks obsessed with a good show. And our opinion means nothing without yours in the comments below. See you next week.
Wrestling Legion. We make it make sense.